Oh, I think it works. Hello. Anybody hear me? Anybody out there? Okay. Is there anyone out there? Can you hear me? Do I have a microphone? It looks like I have a microphone. Oh, good. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I moved upstairs, so I'm right next to the router. So hopefully that fixed whatever problem kicked me off before. All right. What are we even talking about? Yeah, I'm using the webcam microphone downstairs. I was right next to my audio interface, so I was running an SM58 into it, so that's what you were hearing. But now I'm just running straight off the webcam. So hopefully that's at least good enough. I mean, I'm not going to be singing or anything, but all right. So what was I talking about? Talking about projects that I had coming up. I think it was those were kind of the main ones. So I know Venus X is a big one, and then furthermore is going to be the next one that I've got coming up. Bento Box. It's not important. It's one of those projects that every now and then a project comes on that's like it's something that I want from me, and it turns out to be cool enough that other people would probably want it too. And Bento Box is going to be one of those. So I don't know if everybody else is going to be excited about it, but I'm excited about Bento Box. Um, I guess Gondwana is still on the table. That's one that I want Gondwana to happen, and it's been an uphill battle getting it going. The tricky thing there is that originally I was planning to do all of the software development for it, and I am not a software person. Um, and so I found a company that was going to do it for me, and they were going to be way too expensive. So I found another company that was going to do it, and they just kind of aren't in a hurry to do it. So I found another company that's going to do it, and they actually seem to be pretty good. So I'm still talking to them, hoping to get that taken care of. Because Gondwana, it's going to be really cool, and it's going to open the door. Just once I have like a solid IR loader design, I can pull that into anything. So I mean, any preamp I make, I can add an IR section into it, and I think that that's. I'm not saying that everything I make is going to have that option, but it's just going to open the door for having a lot more flexible designs in the future. So I'm hoping that I can get that going. I would say soon, but it doesn't really need to be soon. It just needs to be eventually. So that's going to be a cool one. Pretty much it. And then, just a bunch of preamps. Because anytime, not like anytime, but pretty much anytime a preamp gets mentioned and somebody says, hey, whatever happened to this preamp that nobody makes anymore, I usually put one together. And sometimes, like, I put it together and it doesn't work, or I put it together and it works, and it's like, it sounds similar enough to something that I have, so I don't end up releasing it. But I do end up building a lot more things than you guys know about because I can't sell like 30 different models. I already probably have more than I should, but I build a lot more than I end up selling. There was one that came up a little while ago. I think it was a sun, and I put that design together, but I never ordered it. But that one sounded cool. There's just so many cool things out there that I'm never gonna run out of things to build. And then the sun one used an interesting tube that I'd never used before, and so that's a cool thing to think about. Just so much junk, man. I'm never gonna sleep, which is fine. Anyway, how you guys doing? I guess this is a Q&A. Does anybody have any questions? I can just, continue rambling for the next little bit. Um, I'd say the most common email I get from people is like, hey, I just found out about your stuff. This is what I'm looking for. Which one of your way too many pedals would be the right choice for me? Um, and for most people, I just end up saying underground accelerator. Like, if you don't know what you want, you probably want the underground accelerator. If you kind of know what you want, then, we can talk about other things. But basically, if you don't know what you want, then that's what you want. Um, yeah, they're all good. I love all of them, obviously. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't sell it. It's a good one. Well, I can't say everybody likes it because sometimes you do want something specific, and so underground accelerator, it's flexible. My my impression is that it's not too much of anything, and so if you're looking for something that's like aggressively something, then underground accelerator is not going to get you there. But if you're just looking for something flexible that sounds really good, then that's it. But slam peg, yes. I know I'm using the webcam microphone. I had to come upstairs because the internet connection in the basement was dropping out, so I don't have my SM58 anymore. Um, so I promise there's not actually a blanket covering my microphone. That's just what the microphone sounds like. Um, but slam peg, that one has been popular and will always be popular because if you know that you're looking for the Ampeg sound, then you want a slam peg, and you might not like underground accelerator because if you're looking for that Ampeggy grind, then underground accelerator isn't really going to get you there. It can do cool things and it can get some grind, but it's more thundery. HPF LPF tube thingy, man, I'm looking forward to that one too. I hope it's ready soon. Oh man, I just like I need to sleep. I don't need to sleep less. People consistently tell me that I need to sleep more, but I just wish there's not enough hours in the day, man. There's just too much cool stuff to build. Not enough hours in the day, but it will happen eventually. That's the good news. Is I'm not dead yet. I can keep building stuff. So that'll be a cool one. And the name will probably change. Right now, the working title is Furthermore because it's like I don't know. It's just kind of a cool word. I don't know. I'll probably think of a different name for it when it comes to release. And I think one of the things that keeps pushing it back is I keep moving the goalposts. Like I have an idea of what I want it to be because initially it was just going to be like this is a fancier DI. It was basically going to be finally with a tone stack and another tube. And then people said, hey, why don't you throw in a high pass filter? And everybody else was like, well, let's get a low pass filter too. And it's like, okay, I guess it's going to have both. And I just keep adding things, and so it didn't end up getting built. Yeah, I think they actually did like an early prototype with it, and it never went anywhere because it didn't have the high pass filter and low pass filter. So I just need more things. Yeah, that'll happen. It'll happen eventually, and it's going to be great. But then, like, I get to the point where it's like, if I'm already putting in high pass filter and low pass filter, it wouldn't be that much more effort to add an IR loader to it. And then at that point, it's like, it's unwanted. So I just need to figure out what I want it to be and what I don't want it to be. But yeah, so now it's just what we like to call vaporware, where it's an idea that's floating around there, and eventually it might turn into hardware. But for now, it's an idea, and it'll be cool. I'm trying to think. I think I didn't really settle on the preamp section because, like, I had an idea for the preamp, and then I released more, and everybody has loved more. Like ever since I released more, that has been the number one selling pedal every month. Um, I think it's consistently at least like 25% of what gets ordered every single month. And so people like the sound of more, and so maybe I should do more things that have that general sound to it. So I could take the idea of more and expand it, and then add a high pass filter and low pass filter, and that would probably be a really cool preamp. So that's a winner. I should be writing this down. I mean, I guess it's getting recorded, so I can go back and watch it. Maybe I should do that. So in like a week or so, everybody remind me to go back and watch this video so that I can remember all these things that I'm talking about, because otherwise I don't remember. Oh, excellent. Yeah, I think all the Moors from the December batch have shipped unless they were ordered with something that wasn't finished yet. So if more was the only thing you ordered, that should have shipped already. That's cool. Be here tomorrow. My goal is to get as much from December shipped out that at the very least the people in the United States would get their pedals before Christmas. Um, it's going to get a little close on some of them because I still have about a dozen, or I guess a little more than a dozen that'll ship tomorrow. I haven't finished them yet, but I'll do that after we're done here. I have everything done except the underground accelerators, and the boards are done and the boxes are done. I just need to put the boards in the boxes and then test them. But everything else is finished up and boxed, ready to go. So we just need to sit down and get shipping done, and hopefully a bunch of stuff will get there before Christmas. So that's fun. I like building stuff. Man, it's so much fun. I get asked a lot if if I ever think about turning this into my full-time job. I'm like, I think about it. It would be a lot of fun because I do enjoy it, and it would be cool to just build pedals and not have to do anything else. Yeah, maybe one of these days. I didn't win the big Powerball when it was a couple $1 billion. If I had won the Powerball, I would have quit my job and built pedals full time. But alas, it didn't work out. So anyway, pedals are great. Any other questions? Like I said, I can ramble like all day, man. I can just talk about pedals. So if there's any questions, I'm more than happy to answer questions. It's fine if there's no questions too. I'm trying to think what else to talk about, man. Ah, oh really? Okay. Well, sorry the audio's not great. Like I said, I don't. I blame it's Comcast, man. I blame Comcast. Uh, yeah, there wasn't anything solid on the high pass filter. It's going to happen. It's it's one of those things that the idea is in my head, and it's partially made its way into my computer. I'll start to like sketch schematics. I have a couple dozen just like schematics that I started drawing up and just never went anywhere with. And I have it like that, where like I started writing the idea out, but I haven't like finalized anything. So it's going to happen. Um, yeah, because I actually with the high pass filter, I was initially thinking about doing just like a standalone tube driven high pass filter because I thought that would be kind of neat. But then like when you get to that point, it's like if you've already got a tube in there, just like make a full preamp. Like put a high pass filter in it, but make a full preamp. And then obviously, like I said earlier, you get to that point where it's like, well, it's got the high pass filter, let's throw in the low pass filter, and I don't know. Anyway, so it's going to happen. It will happen. I don't know when. Shoot for 2023. I'm just going to say 2023 for everything. That's going to be the year that all the ideas that are in my brain right now are going to come out in 2023. So, like I said, the Venus X, I'm hoping to have that. I think the NAM schedule got weird. I think Winter NAM is going to be in April in 2023. So we're shooting for um, like a formal announcement of the Venus X whenever NAM is. I think it's April. And then the high pass filter, low pass filter preamp would be the next thing on my plate. That's going to be kind of the next big release. and small. That's always the catch, isn't it? You want it to have all these features, and then you still want it to fit on your pedal board. I do what I can. That's because that's always been a big thing for me. That like, there's, I'm not the only person building tube pedals, but like, man, there's so many amazing sounding tube pedals that are just way too big. That it's like you have to like either have like a second board to hold them, or you just have to like not have a board and just have like this massive tube thing just sitting next to your rig. So I always try to make things small. I do the best I can. We'll see how it ends up because I think the last time I had an idea for that, it was still just going to be two tubes. So if it's two tubes, a preamp, high pass filter, low pass filter, I think I was aiming for the same size as like Dreamcatcher and Detective, or like Smoke Signal. That size was kind of what I was looking at for that. That's like the biggest enclosure I'm ever going to try to use. I'd love to never go bigger than that because it's pretty big. It's not like so big it doesn't fit on a board, but like it's pretty big. So my goal is to never use anything bigger than that. I'm sure I'll have to eventually, especially for bento box. But for most things, even like fairly complicated things, I can fit a lot inside that size box. So I think that would probably be reasonable. Yeah, I think that would fit. Have to like draw it in my head. But yeah, I think that would work. So as small as possible is always what I aim for. I like it's well, and then I have to find the balance of as small as possible, but like I don't want the knobs too close together because you still have to be able to get your fingers in there. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, it'll happen. 2023. I'll let everyone know. It won't be a secret, I promise. I don't hope it's killer. I mean that's pretty much it, right? I mean, what does it take to kill a noble? Um, so I mean, the noble is just it's a really good sounding preamp with a really good sounding DI. So I mean, I feel like that would pretty much be it, right? I mean, I don't plan on having anything that like I'm going to advertise as the noble killer. First of all, because like I don't feel like I need to kill the noble. I just feel like I would be different enough that you could choose one or the other. The Noble's a great preamp. I don't have anything bad to say about the Noble. Um, I like the Noble. I had one for a little while. They sound really good, really well built, really well designed. I like the Noble. Um, I would like it a little smaller, obviously. Like I said, I like things to be a little smaller. Um, but yeah, no, I think just a good sounding preamp with a good sounding DI, and Lightning Boy is the best sounding DI out there. And I like to think I make pretty good sounding preamps. So I think yeah, no, they were, what's the wait list on Noble right now? It's like, is it like 6 months or so? He's got a substantial wait list. Um, 'cause, I mean, it's a killer preamp. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think a lot of the backlog comes from the fact that they're just longer than 6 months. It could be, I don't remember. I read something the other day. I don't know what it was. Anyway, um, yeah, I think it's just Noble. It checks so many boxes for so many people. I mean, it's a great sounding preamp with a great sounding DI. Like who doesn't need that? And so there aren't a lot of other people filling that need right now. And so everybody's waiting for the Noble. Uh, so I try to fill that need to an extent. Obviously, I have finally for people that want something a lot smaller with, I guess, less options. Because that was the goal of finally was just no frills, just dirt simple, as small as possible, tube preamp with a good sounding DI. And I feel like it came out really well. I I'm just gonna keep saying Lightning Boy is great. I think Lightning Boy is the best DI out there. So really excited to continue working with Mike from Lightning Boy and putting his transformers in my pedals. Um, and I don't have anything against the Jensen DI, except that Jensen wasn't very friendly when I reached out to them. It seems like they don't like talking to small companies. Um, I guess not small companies, just companies that build in small volumes like I do. So Lightning Boy has been really cool to work with. Um, and then when I was first trying out DI transformers, I built a preamp that had both transformers in it and a switch, so I could switch between the two. Um, and it's like they're really close in sound, but the Lightning Boy just has a little extra something. Lightning Boy makes a bigger transformer in the 2020. Bigger like size wise. I know he does have a bigger package, but I don't really know what it's for. Because I know he does a lot of like studio equipment transformers. Because I know the 2020 is just like a one-to-one line transformer. The one that I get from him is I'm blanking on the model, M15, something like that. Anyway, it's the same size as the 2020 transformer, like the same package. It's wound differently because it's a DI transformer instead of just a one-to-one line transformer. Um, but he does make bigger transformers. And eventually, what was that project? I had a project that I was going to talk to him about doing a custom transformer for me. And now I don't even remember what the project was. I don't know. But I know he's said that if I gave him specs that he could do custom transformers for me. Like I said, he's really easy to work with. He's a cool guy. I like him a lot. Um, so yeah, it seems like he can do just about anything, which I think is really cool. Because like, I mean, I know tons of people that build pedals, but like, how many people do you know that like build transformers? It's just cool that he just figured that out and does a really good job at it. So I have a lot of respect for him. He's really cool. Anyway, that was a tangent, but oh, we were talking about the Noble. Yeah. Anyway, yep. Great sounding preamp with a great sounding DI, and that's a Noble, and there's others out there. I know the Con DI is great as well. A lot of people like that. Um, so I guess there's a few options out there. But yeah, Noble. I guess what makes the Noble a Noble? Um, yeah. Anyway, great sounding clean preamp, great sounding DI, and that's it. I'm repeating myself, but that's what the Noble is. So that's what I need. I think there's more to it than that. I mean, I'm not. I think I remember Lightning Boy's education is in physics, but I don't claim to be a transformer expert. But there's a lot of subtleties in the way that transformers can be wound. Um, and there is something to the size. I mean, I know the very first DI I built, because I built a tube DI in like 2018, and it was garbage because I just used this teeny tiny Chinese transformer that I bought for like $5, and it sounded awful. Um, so I know there's something to the size. So the Noble uses the Jensen DI transformer, which is about the same size as the Lightning Boy transformer. I don't know what the Ready uses. Do they use the Jensen as well? They might. Because I know a lot of people use the Jensen transformer. It's considered, just one of the Jensen and Cinemag are kind of the two really big name DI transformer manufacturers. I'm not sure what the Ready uses, but I know the Noble uses the Jensen. Um, I'm not gonna look right now because I only have one screen and I don't want to like minimize YouTube while I look up what transformer is in the Ready. But I know the Noble uses the Jensen, and that's about the same size as the Lightning Boy. So I think you're right that there is something to the size. I don't know if you can directly say bigger is better, but I do feel like there is a minimum size that it has to be to pass, all the frequencies that you need. Because that was the big problem that I had with the smaller transformer that I had, is that it just cut all the lows out. and so it just the frequency response of the transformer was no good. So the Jensen and the Lightning Boy are good. I haven't tried a Cinemag myself, but I know Jensen and Lightning Boy both have really solid low end frequency response. But I don't know if there's a point at which there's diminishing returns. Like how big does a transformer have to be? Like if bigger is better, like there has to be a point at which it's just big enough and good enough. So I don't know. But yeah, obviously tubes are a big deal. I like tubes. Oh, good question. Good question. When did I have that? It was a couple of years ago. Yeah, it's a cool pedal. I like the Noble. Probably should have held on to it longer. I could have sold it for more. Oh well. Anyway, good investment if you get into a Noble. All right. Any other questions? You can make your own. Okay. I didn't know that. Well, that makes me want to get it ready to look at the transformer now. I probably shouldn't, but I'm really curious. I have to find pictures of it, see how big it is. Cause they, yeah. Anyway, something for me to research. Another rabbit hole for me to dive down. All right, good to know. So ready makes their own transformers. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know there's everybody that I know that has a ready really likes their ready. And I know so Tony Puleo, who I'm working with on the Venus X, he has a finally and he has a ready, and he likes to run both of them together. He says he really likes both. They just have very different character, and he likes the way they blend. So everybody, like I said, everybody that has a ready seems to really like their ready. Um, that seems like a cool little unit. But those are, yeah, they're a little big, but I mean, they seem to be really well made. I guess that's kind of the other balance you have to look at is you want it to be you want it to be small, but you don't want it to be like fragile. So I try to keep things as small as possible without making them like easy to break. But the Ready seems really solidly built. And I've heard really good things about the Con. And I almost bought one. Found a really good deal on it. I wish I'd bought it because it's gone now. I feel like a lot of the size and weight issue is power. Um, it's not bad. I don't need it. I don't need it. But 550 is not bad. But yeah, the big issue with size and weight is power. I mean, I've always liked running things off of the 9 to 12 volt pedal power, just because I think it's convenient. I mean, my goal is to have things on a board. I've always used a pedal board, and I feel like not everybody, but I feel like most people are using pedal boards these days. Um, and so I've always designed things to go on a pedal board, which is why I've never used, AC power. I don't take the AC power input, which saves me a lot of space because I don't need a power transformer. And so I know, at least in the Noble, that's a big part of the size is the power transformer. And I know that's a big part of the cost because he has custom wound power transformers in there. Um, and so just leaving that out saves a lot of space and a lot of weight and a lot of cost. So that's why I always take DC inputs for my unit because it's a lot easier for everybody. I mean, obviously you have to get a power supply that can run it, but with all the power supplies that are out there today, it's a lot easier to do. So anyway, oh, this man, wish you hadn't told me that. I don't need it. I don't need it. Oh, I have too many pedals already. Anyway, Oh, but that was kind of another thing I was thinking about with the Ready and the Noble. A lot of it seems like a lot of why they like taking the line AC power is just the convenience for running in a studio. Because in a studio, you don't really care how big something is or how heavy it is. You just want it to be as convenient to use as possible. And it's a lot easier to just, plug your IEC power cord into it than to have to hunt down like a one spot or like a DC7 or whatever you're going to power it off of. If you can just plug it into the wall and be good to go. So I definitely get that convenience for more studio geared units like the Ready. And the Noble, I mean, the Noble, I hear a lot of studio musicians use the Noble, but I feel like it's also used a lot live. So I don't know. But then he's also got the 9-volt output, so it's like he designed it for use on a pedal board. Anyway, it's a good design. I like it, but it is big and heavy, and like it's expensive, but I think it's worth it. Like I don't think he's charging an unfair amount for his preamps. It's a really good design, and they're really well built. So I like the Noble. I hope there's no good deals on Nobles right now, because like I don't need a Noble. But yeah, man, never have enough gear. Unless you ask my wife. My wife says I have plenty of gear. Anytime I build a pedal for myself, she's like, "Don't you already have enough pedals?" Well, this one's different, you know. Still has tubes in it. It's still technically a preamp. Depending on your definition of preamp, my pedal board has like 9 preamps on it because they're all different. I like to have different sounds. It's important. Ah, the compressor business. Yes. Oh, that was something that I could have talked about. Yeah. I actually have a prototype compressor. Like I was shooting for a subtle compressor, but like it's so subtle I can't tell if it's compressing or not. So I either made like the most subtle compressor in the world or just like a really nice clean preamp. So I'll probably scrap that design. I had another compressor design that I was tossing around. So short answer is yes, I plan to get back into compressors. Long answer is I have like 3 or 4 different ideas for compressors that I just need to figure out which one I'm going to end up with. I think I actually have a finished schematic for one that I just need to lay out a circuit board for, and then I can get a prototype ordered. But again, it just comes back to how many hours there are in the day. But like I try not to order a million things at a time so that I just have prototypes like laying around. Um, but I do have a compressor design that I like the idea of. Obviously, I don't know exactly what it's going to sound like, but I usually have like a general idea of what something's going to sound like before I actually build it. Um, 'Cause I don't do like I know a lot of pedal builders, and I used to. They do what we call breadboarding, where it's like it's a non-permanent prototyping solution where you just kind of plug things in and you can unplug them and move them around. And I don't really do that anymore, just because I know. I mean, when you've built enough preamps, like it gets to the point where a preamp is a preamp, and so you know what changes are going to make on the sound. Like if I just like draw out a design, I'll know just from looking at it basically what it's going to sound like and how it's going to respond. Um, and so with the compressor, it's a little different because it has the compression and not just the preamp. So obviously this is going to be a tube-driven compressor because I mean I can't make pedals without tubes. Like what would be the point? Um, yeah, so I'm looking mostly at optical compressors because that's what I've found that I like the most. I've tried some FET compressors that I really like, um, but I keep coming back to optical. Um, yeah, and I found a couple designs that I think will work out. I just I need to clear off my plate. I need to get all the things I've been working on forever off my plate so that I can actually, like, I still build new things. I just feel more guilty about it because I know that there's other things that should have priority. But I just, I look at new shiny things and I want new shiny things. So, like, I'll finish up a design for something that's important that has priority, and I'll order it. And then while I'm waiting for it to come, I'll design 3 or 4 other things. And it's just an ongoing cycle of circuit boards coming to my house. It's fun, but yeah, new compressor. 2023 is all I'm gonna say. I don't know, sometime in 2023, and maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll pull out the one that I've got sometime and play with it some more to see if it's actually compressing. I don't know, because it sounds good. That's the thing is, it sounds really good, but like, yeah, crazy circus one. Oh, the crazy circus one that has both in there. Um, okay, yeah, I saw that one. I don't think I looked too hard at it. I saw it. Anyway, neat idea. So it's okay. So okay, I'm gonna read your comment better now. So it actually has 3 different kinds of compression in there. Okay, that's cool. Neat idea. Yeah, Scuba does reviews. That's the kind of thing Scuba does. That's cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I don't need a compressor, but I'll have to check it out. That's a neat idea. Hmm. Now, what would the other kind be? Oh, VCA. Or VCA. So, yeah, so typically you have optical compression, FET compression, and then voltage controlled amplifier is the other one. The LM13700, what like the Ross compressor uses. That's the third kind. If I had to guess what he'd be using. So that's interesting. I'll have to check that one out. Again, not because I need a compressor, but I think pedals are neat. Sometimes I buy pedals just because I think they're neat. Like I have a good friend that builds pedals as well, and every now and then I'll tell him about a pedal I bought, and he's like, "Oh, cool! Are you gonna like trace the schematic and clone it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I just thought it was a cool pedal." So yeah, that'd be a cool one to check out. I don't I don't use compressors a ton, but I also just don't play a ton. So if I played more, maybe I'd need a compressor. Um, but that's cool. You have to check that out. Anyway, yeah, good question. Compressors, man. I need to get back into my compressor. It was coming along. Gonna get there. 2023. That's the year for everything. And then at the end of 2023, I will be done designing new things. This is a great lie I can tell myself. All right. Any other good questions? This is a good question. I like compressors. Whew, pretty cool. I guess if you don't count the downtime from Comcast ruining everything as Comcast does, it's been about an hour. So if there's any other pressing questions, I'm happy to answer them. If not, then I can go ahead and sign off and get back to building things. Get the last December builds finished up and shipped out. And yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining on. I guess one thing that I should have mentioned before that I didn't, I did talk about how I'm planning to do the in-stock builds for the SMD builds with the ready-made enclosures. My plan is to spend January getting those put together. So I'm not planning to do like a typical batch for January, but I am planning to do more custom builds starting in February. So I'm going to be taking January off from the custom builds, but I'll be getting the in-stock builds ready. So that's the plan for that. And with that, we can go ahead and call it. Thank you guys for coming on and for asking questions and keeping me company and listening to me ramble. I hope you guys all have a happy holidays and make some great noise. And we will talk to you later.